What's up everybody, it's Robin Gaming here. So over the next couple of days, what I wanted to do is, now that PlayStation Experience is behind us, I wanted to kind of touch on all of the individual, really interesting upcoming, big games like The Last of Us Part 2, God of War, Death Stranding, some news that we learned about the Uncharted franchise. Pretty much touch on all of the news that we learned for every single one of these games. So I'll start off today with The Last of Us Part 2, I guess. And what's really sad actually is simply the fact that really, as far as The Last of Us goes, of course, I had the PlayStation presentation, which they didn't even really mention the game there, it seemed. Then we had the panel, and the panel itself was honestly quite terrible as well, if you'd ask me. It really wasn't all that good. I was annoyed at times by the host as well, but like, basically... And a lot of the things that they shared there was pretty much non-news. It was things that we already knew, but they were acting like it was, this stuff that really, we should see as surprises when it's just not. So let's actually get into it, right? We did learn a couple of things, and I'll just go over them and share how I feel about those things, right? So the very first thing basically is that, of course, on the panel itself, we didn't have just only Neil Druckmann talking about the story for the game and stuff. He also has a co-writer who is Hallie Gross. We knew that for a while already. She's a writer on Westworld and stuff, the TV show before, and she's helping him out with the script. One of the things that they revealed, a really quick tease I guess for the fans, was that she came up with the idea that some character in the game is going to be pregnant. Now this is the very first thing that I would consider to be non-news, because we knew this from the get-go. Uncharted 4, literally back in May 2016 when the game came out, already teased that there was some type of pregnant character in the new The Last of Us, which at first we were thinking, is that Ellie? Now it seems more that the theory is, of course, that it's Ellie's mother, Anna, who we saw in the most recent trailer. There were signs pointing at the fact that she could be pregnant during that trailer, that it's some type of flashback prequel thing situation going on, because the religious crazies were pretty much pointing with that, with that knife at her belly and stuff. Although there is also some, some I guess reasons to believe that that's actually not the case. But regardless of that, we knew that there was going to be some type of pregnant character in the game. If that is going to turn out to be Ellie's mom, or Ellie herself, or some type of other character in the game, we'll have to wait and see. We still, for example, do not know, who the Shannon Woodward character is that we've known for the longest already that she's cast for the game, but we still don't know which character she plays and how big of a role that's actually going to be in The Last of Us Part 2 itself. Now, the second piece of news is that we got the confirmation that a large part of the game will take place in Seattle. Once again, this is the second piece of non-news, because like I said, we knew this pretty much already. Fans had figured out from the get-go that that very first trailer that we saw for the game takes place in Seattle. There was literally buildings and signs and stuff that already pointed towards that. But apparently a large part of the game will take place there. Why exactly, we do not know. But I personally would say that, Seattle being this, like it being this urban type of environment, I guess, which is where it's going to take place in, and at the same time, the fact that he said that a large part of the game will be taking place there, it could very well be. What I personally thought about is that I wouldn't be surprised if we will see that Seattle is gonna be this area where we're gonna have a large open section, kind of similar to how Uncharted 4 had these larger sections, how The Lost Legacy had this one massive open world kind of area, one chapter long. Like Naughty Dog always keeps building on their games, right? And so you saw that the original The Last of Us learned from the original Uncharted trilogy. Uncharted 4 in turn learned from The Last of Us. And I have no doubt that The Last of Us Part 2 is once again going to do the same, where it's pretty much taking all those things that they learned from previous games. And in that way, I think that The Last of Us Part 2 is also going to have some type of open area where maybe you can drive in a vehicle and stuff. You can start looting houses and things like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle is going to turn out to be the location that they choose for a massive area like that, right? So I could really see that happening. Next up, Neil Druckmann revealed that the game right now, the way he estimates it, is about 50 to 60% done. That is actual news that actually gives us a pretty good indication of where the game is at. And so I was happy that at least he shared that. But it was just an estimate, it doesn't really say too much. a lot of people were asking me if I think that that means that the game will be coming out in like 2018. I still do not believe that. I think basically, if you really think about it, The Last of Us Part 2 has been in development since probably already 2015, honestly. I really do believe that the way it works is that once Uncharted 4 had its script finished completely and the mocap stuff was done, which seemed to be in 2015 already, nearing the end of it, you know, that's the moment where the people responsible for that side of the game are gonna move on to the next project. And so Neil Druckmann and, you know, the people responsible for the mocap at Naughty Dog will have moved on at that point to The Last of Us Part 2. That's why they were able to already show us that new trailer for the game, you know, in the same year that Uncharted 4 came out, right? Is that they had already been working on it for a bit, but with a smaller team. And so, with that small team, which has constantly been expanding and stuff, clearly they've been working now for a couple of years already on what this game is going to be, on the story, doing the groundwork, coming up, you know, I guess making all the concept art, deciding the locations, the story, doing some of the mocap, like I said. But this part of Naughty Dog that's actually responsible for really building the game, making the game, was still too busy on the Lost Legacy, of course, because that still had to be built. But we know that Naughty Dog for a couple of months already is now finally in complete full production, where the entire, you know, like 300 people team or whatever is on The Last of Us Part 2. So yeah, I think basically if you take all of that in mind and then think about the fact that the game is 50 to 60% done, I really see this game still coming out in summer 2019, probably May, June, July, you know, somewhere comparable to where the original game also came out, which was June 2013. So I really think it's going to be a similar situation, June 2019, for the game to come out. The last piece of news, which, you know, once again, I'm going to have to just be honest, it's non-news, is that we'll see more of it at E3 2018. And they were acting like that was a big, you know, deal and fans got excited about it, but let's be honest, we all knew it was, you know, gonna be shown at E3. I think that's where it's gonna have its gameplay reveal. That E3 for Sony is gonna be pretty huge, because I think for, you know, both The Last of Us, also Death Stranding, and Ghost of Tsushima, I think for all three of them, we're actually gonna see some type of gameplay being revealed. Maybe Death Stranding being the one with the smallest, like, the smallest gameplay tease, I guess, but Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima and stuff will no doubt have a full-blown gameplay demo at E3 next year, because that's the time where a game like that has to shine. That's probably the only E3 that The Last of Us will have, because like I said, May and June, that's really where it's probably going to come out, and E3 is always in June and stuff, so it's like, you know, this is going to be the E3 for that game to shine, and so I highly expect that we're going to see gameplay of the game at E3 2018, just like we saw it in 2012, I guess, with that really awesome demo that got a lot of people hyped and excited and stuff. They're gonna do something similar there for sure. A quick last thing, I guess, that I can touch on that I found interesting that we learned in the panel of The Last of Us is that Neil Druckmann said that Naughty Dog will forever continue to make single-player, linear, story-based adventures, and obviously that makes me very happy, but I think it's also just this thing where, you know, it seemed that both during the Game Awards and during PSX, a lot of these developers took great joy in making sure that they could, you know, throw some shots at EA and stuff, and getting some goodwill from the gamers, I guess, by really, once again, sharing that they're still very focused on single-player games, because that's what a lot of the core gamers want to hear right now, and so, you know, I'm just saying, it's good to hear, though, of course, it's good to hear, because that's what Naughty Dog is good at. They really should not be thinking about making any different type of game for the next couple of years for sure, because this is the type of stuff that they, you know, that they are just amazing at, and what they need to keep doing, because those are the games that we desperately need more, I guess, especially at the quality level of what Naughty Dog can achieve. So, just all in all, good to hear. And basically, those were all the details for The Last of Us Part 2. Once again, I had to just stay a little bit down to earth on it, you know. We really didn't get too much, like, noteworthy news here, like I said. But at the same time, it's enough at least to talk about, to speculate about. And with that being said, of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you personally expect based on the news that we heard, and you know, do you think I'm spot on with this, or do you think I'm absolutely wrong on some of these things? Make sure to let me know that in the comments. And then for now, leave a quick like if you want to help support my channel. I'd really appreciate it. And then I'd like to thank you a lot for watching, and hope to see you again next time.